Friday. You made it through the week. We are so glad that you are with us. And if you're an Idaho lawmaker, there is a chance you're still at work over at the big State House. Well, they're working hard on a Friday trying to crush through the final budgets and bills, and they will not finish tonight, no, and we'll get to that conversation of when they will wrap up in just a minute. But it is a whirlwind down at the State House as lawmakers are getting things done to wrap up the year. And you can tell that they're trying to finish because they had a Senate State Affairs Committee meeting at 7 o'clock this morning. Yeah, that's super early. One committee member even calling it the Senate State Affairs saving time. Regardless of the timing, though, the committee had a mountain of work to tackle. Items about relationships with foreign entities, laws for the legislature, and guns. And maybe the headline item, something we've discussed here for weeks, what to do about content in Idaho libraries. Well, some say there is harmful material to minors in accessible places at school and community libraries. Others say simply isn't the case. So legislation to restrict the distribution, promotion, or dissemination of obscene materials or materials harmful to minors, that was presented early this morning. And the bill includes a penalty of up to a year in jail or a fine of up to $1,000 or both. And legislation also sets up a citizen review committee for content in the libraries all across Idaho. Each entity would have their own committee. Now, those committees for each entity would include parents, members of the community, local law enforcement, and a religious representation from the community as well. And right after that bill was pitched, a bill immediately followed that would give district courts a quick turnaround to inspect material that is questioned as harmful as a part of a court process. Now, lawmakers debated both, making a series of points about the bills and the session-long conversation.
The testimony was that how it doesn't exist in our libraries, and yet we have parents, including friends of mine, that bring me stuff from the libraries around that 2nd, 2nd, and 3rd grade kids are getting. So we can all kind of hide our head a little bit and say there isn't a problem, but I think a lot of it's communication between the community and those boards, and yes, they are elected, and you can unelect them every so often.
I don't think either of these bills is necessary, mostly because the librarians have processes in place. There is not pornography in the libraries. There is material that some people think is quote unquote harmful and other people don't. And that is for a court to determine, and I think they already have. So I would ask us not to continue to encroach on this and to let the librarians in their local communities incorporate the processes they have. I think they're being responsive.
And there was public testimony from citizens and stakeholders early today, and that included a member of the Meridian Library District speaking on their own behalf. They made that clear. But he explained the consequences that he sees with legislation passing.
If this law and some of the other laws before the legislature this year were to pass, my recommendation to my fellow board members would likely immediately rescind all library cards for minors, 0 to 17. Cancel those library cards, and then pass a policy forbidding any minors unaccompanied by their parents, from whatever age of minor they may be, from entering our library. We can't risk the legal liability otherwise.
So just one opinion, but you can get the real-life reactions that the idea could really potentially have if this becomes law. Public organizations, they want to do everything they can to avoid being sued into oblivion, which is a concern of critics of the bill. Senator James Ruckty expanded on that in committee.
Let's talk about what's really going on here. We have a loud and angry group of citizens who have gone to their local library board with complaints. What's really happening here is they aren't getting the result they want. And that's not guaranteed under our system of government. Our system of government allows you to have redress, allows you to bring up your concerns, to be heard. It does not guarantee you an answer. If it did, we'd have no reason to have a board. You just get what you want. We keep giving them additional opportunities to waste more people's time. Prosecutors, now the district courts. I've been involved in injunction hearings. It brings everything to a halt in the court system because the time frames are so short.
Republican Senator Chuck Winder explained his views during the committee meeting, and he says that on the topic, his views have evolved after hearing and seeing circumstances for himself.
think about the difference in the types of books that are in the libraries today in our schools that children have access to. And I kind of poo-pooed all this until I was at my grandson's birthday party last year, and one of the mothers from one of the third graders that was there walked up and said, "Here's a book that my son brought home from his school library." It wasn't about baseball at all. It was age inappropriate.
Both bills did pass the committee this morning. Lawmakers will soon take them fully up soon on the floor.